you were out of town.
Yeah, I was out of town.
All
All right.
Quarterly, so every quarter.
Have my cord tangled a little bit. I'm here with a couple of friends from DFW Normal, Austin, and KC. Austin, I'm gonna cut in front of you real quick, KC. Austin is my co-producer for my upcoming short documentary for a Texas Veteran Conference out in Austin, Texas. Why don't you tell them a little bit about it?
Texas VetCon was an amazing event. In fact, all three of us were there. Several people highly involved in the cannabis movement in Texas were speaking. Several people who were in the military, obviously veterans. We had several doctors, and we had former DEA agent, and lawyers. Who else was there? Rob Campia, who I think you got an interview with, right? Little one-on-one. That was one that we had our wildest dreams. We didn't think we were going to get Rob Campia, but this man just doesn't take no for an answer, Rob. So, and that's why he's here. That's why he's producing it. So, exciting times. We're in downtown Dallas right now. We're about to make a lot of things happen. A lot of voices are going to be heard. A lot of things are going to be said. And I hope the city of Dallas, and not just the city of Dallas, but the state of Texas, is listening, because we're going green. It's only a matter of time, guys.
All right, so Austin, tell them a little bit about your website and your company and everything. I know you have your own thing going on also.
Yeah, I'm the executive director of the Texas Cannabis Collective. It's a what I like to call it is free information proliferation. I try to get as much news about Texas cannabis, whether it's legislative news, news as far as advocacy, pot busts, a lot of cartel work, all sorts of things that you'll find within the state of Texas dealing with cannabis, anywhere from El Paso to Laredo to North Texas. So pop it on the Facebook. We're a Texas Cannabis Collective on Facebook. And then I'll have the rest, hopefully working with Casey here, have the rest up shortly.
Absolutely. Austin, thanks for coming out, boss, and supporting the cause. We'll see you around. Casey.
What's up?
This here man to my right, he is my new co-producer for a little pilot we're messing around with called Roundtable. Like we've been kind of experimenting with, just talking and kind of developing like collaboration just in terms of current events and talking about issues like drug policy, talking about immigration, talking about protests, national anthem protests, stuff like that. And tell them a little bit about the Roundtable.
Well, the Roundtable just started off as an experiment for people to be heard. The media that you see on CNN and Fox News it's bought for. It's not true reality. And so we're bringing you reality news, just live as it's happening. It's being recorded. It's being uploaded in the raw. You're gonna see protesting in various forms. You're gonna experience what it's like to be and understand what it means to be repressed by your own government.
Tell me a little bit about, both of you guys, if you could, a little bit about how cannabis has influenced your life and impacted your life for the positive.
Well, in short, I spent 7 years in California, in Los Angeles. And the last 2 years there, whenever Colorado and Oregon legalized it recreationally or commercially, which you should look into that, it's commercially, then I told my wife, I said, babe, it's a matter of time. This is going to happen, and I think it can help me. And so I went on Prop 215 for 2 years. I met a lot of cool people. I networked, and, I became very familiar with cannabis. I'm a connoisseur. I'm an existentialist. I believe everybody should try something once. And I definitely convey that message in speech and body language to my friends and family, especially the ones that are closest to me.
Absolutely. Austin?
Well, I guess I've been dealing with cannabis for the better part of almost 16 years. Going in college, smoked a lot, hung out a lot, did a lot of research in college about it, became educated, dabbled in a little activism work, but if any of you remember the year 2001, a lot of things were happening in the United States then, so cannabis activism was definitely not on the forefront. It wasn't until 2010 that I became what I like to term marijuana martyr. which are people, one of the 70,000 people a year that are arrested because of cannabis in the state of Texas, 95% of which are for less than 2 ounces of cannabis, which is a Class B misdemeanor in the state of Texas. I was arrested, and my experience going through the legal process, going through the judicial process of cannabis prohibition really opened up my eyes to what's wrong with not just prohibition in our entire country, but more specifically in the state of Texas. This is where cannabis prohibition in this country started, and it's my firm belief that with my help, with the help of people like Rob, with the help of people like Casey, and other individuals that you're going to be seeing throughout this afternoon, we're gonna turn the tide, green tide, and it's going to roll hard. It's going to overwhelm the nation, and it's going to bring a lot of jobs, and it's going to save a lot of lives, and that's what we're ultimately doing here, you know, saving lives. So
my total experience with cannabis actually goes back to the time that I was 14 years old. I was using it to treat depression and schizophrenia as a result of schizophrenia I was just born with. I think it's hereditary, and then the depression was the result of I lost a caregiver on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, late 90s. She was shot by a jealous ex-boyfriend after she broke up with him and went on to be with somebody else. And that impacted me. You know, like the reality of more of our own mortality hit me at a very young age. And then I went in the military, and a couple things happened in there, and same story, you know, in a car accident as well. So, I mean, I'm no stranger to trauma. I live in pain. I'm 30 years old, but I've got the body of a 60-year-old. I'm growing out my beard for the first time, and I've got gray hairs. I mean, life has not been fair to me. And I write about it at wagonindustries.com, W-A-G-E-N industries.com. I've responded to many things, including Wagon Casey, the Wagon Seller, Wagon Wheel, and Wagin, and so all sorts of other names. So, you know, I know multiple different languages, and I'm currently studying to know more. My goal is in the next 10 years to become a conversational in 10 languages. And so far I've got a head start at 4, and I'm working on 5, 6, and 7. So
what languages do you speak?
English, Ebonics, Chicano, Spanish, Greek, Hebrew, and I'm working on French, German, Chinese, modern Hebrew. I do biblical and classical Hebrew, and a little bit of Latin.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, Austin, KC, thank you guys for coming out and supporting the cause. Check them out on both of their Facebooks and their websites, and yeah, be looking for them, because you know they're the silent warriors. You know, they're going to be out here, you know, being the eyes, you know, being the watchdogs, you know, of these streets.
Yep.
So yeah,
it's a 710 kind of day, ladies and gentlemen. 710 kind of day.
All right, thanks again, y'all. Appreciate y'all.